Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to interview number 4 on Riffs and Ropes. Woo, woo!
Whoop.
Jesus Christ.
I'm done with that funny.
I am so glad I'm sitting down right now.
Oh my god.
Enough of announcer hammers.
I was gonna say, Hitsu, you were kind enough to secure our guest this evening. I think it only fitting for you to introduce him.
Well, we got the man, the myth, the legend, AJ Kirsch, also known as Brody, but let's not acknowledge that bit because that's totally a rumor, right?
He and I are actually two completely separate people, and we both get a little annoyed when we're confused for the other. It's weird.
I know. But we got this fine gentleman here. He's announcer, wrestler, and a voice actor, apparently.
Yep. I am a jack of all trades, and not as much a wrestler as I am a host, ring announcer, commentator, and yes, now I can add voice actor to my resume.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
The list gets longer and longer.
It does. It's a very extensive resume. It's a little bit of everything, which keeps it fun and interesting for me because, I like to consider myself a versatile entertainer, and whenever I can try something new, it's like, let's see what happens. This should be fun, if nothing else.
What could go wrong?
Yeah, exactly. It's probably fine.
Exactly. So, does anybody have a question for him right away?
Well, I will return in just a moment, so I will be right back.
Okay.
I'll start asking away here. How did you first start getting into wrestling? Was it WWE or was it something else? WCW?
It was WWE. I had been aware of wrestling from its the golden era of the late '80s and early '90s, but I really wasn't a religious fan. I wasn't a diehard fan until early '96, which kind of sounds like an odd time to get into wrestling, but little did I know at the time, it was actually a very exciting time to become a fan because it was just a few months before Scott Hall and Kevin Nash jumped ship to WCW. It was like 3 months before Austin 316 was born. And it was like the Monday Night Wars were just starting to like really cook. So again, didn't really know it at the time, but man, what an exciting time to become a wrestling fan.
Yeah. And so I'm guessing around that time you kind of were starting to get into more of the WWE side or WCW, which was the
I guess it's because as I said, I was aware of WWF at the time from the late 80s and early 90s that I just thought that I had already, I guess, decided that they were the premier brand in sports entertainment. So, and plus it was at a time when like I see, Diesel and Razor Ramon jump to WCW. So I just got the impression that they were like WWF light, I guess, which for a while, I mean, I don't know if they ever really escaped that kind of stigma because, if guys got let go by WWF, they often went to WCW. And even though they took a lot of those guys and made far bigger stars out of them, I was always like, when it came time to flip channels, I was always on Monday Night Raw first. And then during commercials, I'd flip over to WCW. So I was always a WWF guy before a WCW guy.
Mm-hmm. And who's the biggest star for you in WWE?
Well, the guy who made me want to pursue a career in wrestling was Shawn Michaels, and probably Mankind, Mick Foley was a close second. And at the time, I was 12 years old when I started watching wrestling, and Mankind debuted the night after WrestleMania 12 when Shawn Michaels won the World Heavyweight Championship for the first time. So, but at 12 years old, Mankind just like terrified me. Like, I was super afraid of that character. So again, I didn't really know it at the time. I didn't really get it yet, but once I did, I was just like, oh my God, Mick Foley is freaking brilliant. And it's kind of funny because Shawn Michaels, obviously, like, good looking guy, good body, very charismatic. And then you had Mick Foley, who his body was already just beat to hell and just patches of hair missing and would like squeal and everything. So you got these two completely different performers that just kind of struck me. And, you know, just the more I watched, and especially the more I got into wrestling, the more I appreciated how brilliant both of those performers really are.
Okay. So what made you decide to pursue something in the wrestling business?
You know, I like to describe it as a phase I never grew out of. Like, you know, when you're young, it's like, at least for me anyway, there's like Transformers and Ninja Turtles and, you know, all that stuff that, you know, Power Rangers, it might come and go, but, you know, none of it, you know, you don't expect any of it to stick around forever, I guess. And since I started watching wrestling in 1996, that was when pro wrestling was still geared towards kids, towards little kids. But as I got into my teenage years and I started growing, it seemed like pro wrestling was growing with me, because then, like I said, you've got the Monday Night Wars, you've got the NWO, you've got DX, Attitude Era. I'm like 14, 15 years old when that's going on. So I just think crotch chopping is like the coolest thing ever. So it's like, it just kind of grew with me, which is why I like to, like I said, describe it as a phase I never really grew out of. And the more I watched, just the more passionate I got about it. And, you know, in 1998, 1999, it became cool again to be a wrestling fan and talk about wrestling. And it was around that time where I'm just kind of like, you know, I wonder what it'd be like to experience it from the inside out. And so it was, as I was going to college at Chico State, I just so happened to pick up a flyer for a wrestling school that was about an hour away. And so as I was going to college to get my degree in communications, I was driving to Yuba City, where I trained at Pro Championship Wrestling 3 days a week. And, you know, I remember my first day. I remember my first bump. I wanted to quit immediately, but something just kept me coming back. I had decided that I was going to see this through, I guess, is what kept me coming back. So in 2003, I started training, and I was off to the races.
And so how did it feel to kind of turn from, or I should ask you, what was your first like wrestler gimmick?
Oh God,
when
it
you
was
started
no
out?
gimmick. I had nothing.
No
it was just AJ Kirsch. And it's funny because like you know, when you're a kid and especially when you're playing wrestling video games, like for me, it was, you know, Attitude, Raw's War, it was Raw's War, Attitude. And then it was WrestleMania 2000, No Mercy, yeah. And then, you know, WCW, they basically, any of those THQ games were just awesome. Like WCW versus NWO was awesome. Revenge was awesome. Then THQ got the WWF license, so you had WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy. And then, but the constant throughout most of those was you could create your own wrestler. I don't think you could in the WCW franchise when they had THQ. You could just like change costumes and stuff. But on the WWF side, you could create your own wrestler. So it's like you spend so many hours as a kid, or at least I did, and I think a lot of kids my age did, creating your character and just what, you know, you have this idea of a prototypical wrestler. If you were in the WWE, what kind of wrestler you would be. And then when it comes actually time to put the look together, create the character, get the gear, you know, get the body, like all that stuff. It's just like, I don't know who I want to be. I guess I'll just be AJ Kirsch. So for a while, that was just my character. I was just AJ Kirsch. And then a couple months into my career, I became a bad guy. And then I just tacked arrogant at the beginning of it. So I was arrogant AJ Kirsch, and I was part of a heel tag team called Ego alongside my tag team partner and mentor, Nathan Rules.
Nice.
So it was in Ego, I guess, where I started to finally get a grasp on a gimmick. And I just took the arrogant part and blew that up as much as possible, because at the time, I had long hair because I didn't know who I wanted to be. I just wanted to be Shawn Michaels at the time. So I had long hair. So I started coming to the ring with a mirror and a brush, and I was brushing my hair on the way to the ring and just, smiling and wearing sunglasses inside like a douche and just healing it up as much as I could. But really, all I had to go off of early on in my career was just arrogant AJ Kirsch as a heel.
Okay. If you want to throw something out there, Hitsu, you can. I'm going through my list.
I guess my question is, how much can you talk about the game that you voiced in? Because I don't want to mess with any contract or anything.
Oh no, you can ask away. If I can't answer something, I'll let you know that I can't answer it. But you're free to ask me whatever you want.
Well, I guess first question is, how'd you end up with a voice role in this game? I'm sure that's interesting.
Yeah, well, after my time on WWE Tough Enough in 2011, I put a lot of time and energy into making myself as versatile an entertainer as possible. So I signed with a local talent agency in the San Francisco Bay Area and was going after hosting gigs and commercials and movies and TV and whatever I could get my hands on, I would do. And, I've been with that agency for, probably 5 or 6 years at this point. And one of the projects they hooked me up with was an audition for what I thought was a television show or a movie about an independent wrestler who gets a shot at WWE, because the title that they provided for this project was not WWE 2K19. So I had no idea that's what it was for. So I do the audition, it goes well. I feel like it goes well. It's weird. Like if I walk out of an audition and there are times when I feel like I nail it and then I never hear from them again. And then there are times where I feel like I take a dump on the bed and I end up getting the role. So there's no way to gauge. Yeah. So there's no way to gauge, there's no way to gauge how well I do at an audition. I just hope the powers that be liked it enough that they want to hire me. And then usually I hear back within a day or two if they want me for the gig. But a week had gone by, so I'd already written it off, I wasn't going to get it. And then I get an email from someone at 2K saying, congratulations, we'd like to offer you the role of Buzz. But, they did ask me to keep the working title confidential, so I'm going to do that. But they said the name of this project isn't actually blah, blah, blah. The name of this project is WWE 2K19, and you're going to be the main character in the video game. So I freaked out. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And it was one of those moments I had to remind myself out loud that I wasn't dreaming.
Oh, I mean, as somebody who likes voice acting too, that's really exciting for me to know that you did voice acting as well, because it is kind of in a league of its own. Right. Anybody can be an actor, but it takes a completely different turn to be a voice actor. It's really rare to find somebody who can do both.
Right. And I realized that was going to be a challenge going into it. I'd done a little bit of voiceover work for commercials and a little bit of narration, but never actually voicing a character in a story-driven project. So, that was one of my big concerns, and especially I think we all know that wrestling fans and gamers alike can be pretty brutal. If they don't like something, they're going to let you know if they don't like something. So when I started getting the feedback from people who were, it seems almost unanimous that people were enjoying my contributions to 2K19. So I can definitely breathe a sigh of relief knowing that it seems to be pretty well received.
Oh yeah, from what little that I've heard, I haven't gotten the game yet. I need to, but
well, I'll say this: playing the game and listening to you, I had to immediately stop and make a new character and actually make you in the game, because that was the only thing I could think of.
Oh, that would be awesome. You gotta tweet me a picture or something, because anytime anybody's creating me or Broseph or anything, that even resembles me, I definitely want to see it. So Pixar didn't happen.
Okay, got it. Understood.
From what I can tell from what little clips that I've seen, you did a great job. Like, really,
Thank you.
No problem. Like, it's hard to tell that you've been limited on your voice acting work, because I can tell that you've definitely done it before.
Well, it was. I don't want to say it was easy. It wasn't easy, but when you're recording both voiceovers and motion capture at the same time, it really is no different from any other acting gig, because you're just expected to be, from the time they yell action to the time they yell cut, you are expected to voice and move and behave as this character. So even though we were wearing, those motion capture outfits with the little circular readers all over them, and we had a camera in our face, and we were in this giant sterile cube that looked like something out of the Matrix, once me and the other characters were interacting with each other and like going through the scenes, it wasn't like, oh my God, this is voiceover or motion capture. It's like, no, we were just acting. So I think that took some of the pressure off at the time.
Oh yeah, I can. I know that when Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, that was kind of the big thing, was that the voice actors were actual actors, and they did everything, including the motion capture. So
yeah,
it's definitely the future of gaming.
Yes, I agree. And, I think they're constantly trying to find new ways to immerse the player in whatever story mode that the game's, trying to execute. And I think having fully voiced characters and those characters actually performing the actions that you're seeing on screen will go a long way.
Oh, I agree. And do you consider yourself a gamer at all?
I do, yeah. I've been a gamer for, longer than I've been a wrestling fan. Unfortunately, I just don't have the time to play video games as much as I'd like. And, the one game that I am playing regularly is Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Even though it came out like 18 months ago, I still, I still pick it up and play it. I still love it. I think Zelda's the one series that I will continue to follow indefinitely. Like, I've stopped playing Halo, I've stopped playing Madden, I've stopped playing Call of Duty. If there's only one left, and it's Legend of Zelda. I mean, I enjoy picking up 2K19 for obvious reasons, but like in my heart, like in my heart of hearts, nothing's ever going to touch No Mercy. And I think that's just me being, a wrestling fan for as long as I have and growing up when I have. But No Mercy is just, obviously the games have stepped up for, oh my God, I'm sorry. I just got a text. Sorry if that came off on your end.
It's okay.
Obviously the games, the complexity and the how elaborate the games are have come a long way. But for me, nothing's ever going to touch how much fun No Mercy was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What about you? What's your, like, do you guys have a soft spot for a certain video game or a certain wrestling video game?
My favorite game of all time is not King. God dang it! I was talking about how much I hated that one. Is Killer 7. It's actually this game called Killer 7. It's this bizarre and strange game, and nobody's ever heard of it until like this year when the creators like, oh yeah, I'm re-releasing it, and like you can ask these guys. Like, I was freaking out. I'm just like tweeting about it constantly. I'm like, Killer 7, Killer 7. Oh my God.
Yeah, I am, unfortunately, I am one of them. I also have never heard of it. I'm going to have to look it up when we're done with the interview.
It's kooky, it's crazy, but it's awesome.
Is it like, can you just, like, what is it? Is it a side scroller or an adventure game, or like, what is Killer 7?
It's an experience, but it's
choice.
It's essentially it's they say air quotes, you can't see my fingers, but air quotes, rail shooter.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And basically you play as this syndicate of 7 different people, and they're all assassins, and like there's this big complicated plot line and storyline, and it's really bizarre. It's really crazy, but I love it because it's completely different from anything out there.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to check it out. I mean, I'm sure I'll find some stuff on YouTube and whatnot. But rail shooters are. Do you remember? Oh God, what was it? It was on PlayStation. Einhander. Does that sound familiar to anybody?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Einhander was it was so much fun. It was one of Joe's. I think would you classify that as a rail shooter, where you're this blip on the screen and the screen moves and you've got to shoot all the stuff that comes on the screen?
Yeah,
I would consider that one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just remember that fondly from my I think PS1 days, and just kind of a breath of fresh air into that genre of what I would classify as an old school game. You don't see a lot of rail shooters anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the reason I said air quotes is because although it's not technically a rail shooter, you are on a set path. Like you have to follow that path, and but and funnily enough, the creator Goichi Suda is like a huge wrestling fan. Like
Oh yeah.
yeah. In No More Heroes, which is probably his most famous franchise, you can literally learn different wrestling moves and use them in your fights. And in Killer 7, one of the assassins is a masked, he's a luchador. And he has like the greatest voice ever. And you never see his face, ever.
Yeah. In true luchador fashion.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So that's my game that I love that nobody else knows about.
Yeah.
Do you have one, Hammers?
I have 2. One's the wrestling, and one's actually my favorite. I'm gonna go throw it back old school and say for my favorite Tony Hawk American Wasteland.
Okay.
Off the PS2 and Xbox 360, and wrestling Wrestle Kingdom 2 on the PS2.
Okay. I'm gonna have to look that one up. I'm not familiar with that one. Oh God damn it! I got no text. Shut the hell up! Leave me alone! I'm doing an interview.
Cuda Brown.
Wrestle Kingdom 2. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one. Is that recent?
No, that one 2004, 2005, I want to say. It's pretty much just like WWE Raw versus SmackDown, but just New Japan.
I see. Gotcha. And American Wasteland came after the Pro Skater series, because I definitely remember the Pro Skater series, but I don't remember American Wasteland.
American Wasteland was just released, I think about 2 years after Underground 2, which was released a few years before Underground, and then after Pro Skater 4.
Gotcha.
So it was that one game that was trying to defeat kind of the start of Skate. So
got it.
So do you have any questions there, Metal Man?
What? Where am I? What am I doing?
What day is it?
Oh, interview. God damn it. That's right. No, I'm sitting here enjoying the talk of games. I'm just surprised that more Mega Man hasn't been brought up.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Fanboy.
What just happened? What just happened?
Oh, what? What's wrong with the Blue Bomber?
I'm not saying anything's wrong with the Blue Bomber. I'm just saying that Mega Man sounds like a sore subject, or something that brings up some feels for some people in the conversation. I don't know.
No, he's just a hardcore fanboy. But I mean, This is coming from me with a avatar that I've had forever. Anyway.
I was going to say, Mega Man and Castlevania were always my favorites and go-tos. Wrestling games, honestly, I haven't been able to play any of the current generation of wrestling games, and so the only ones I can remember are the really crappy ones on the Super Nintendo that were like I think they were.
Oh God, like
engine
WrestleMania.
Yeah, the old.
Like they were like, yeah, they were more like Mortal Kombat games where Undertaker would like hit you with a tombstone and Doink would like squirt water in your eye. And,
yeah,
God, I don't even know what Shawn Michaels did. Threw mirrors at people. I don't know. It was something ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was my experience with wrestling games. Now I just watch other people play it.
Oh yeah, little Jay, he likes to play the crap out of wrestling games. And he actually streams it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's you can stream video games, stream yourself playing video games and do pretty well. I think Xavier Woods like streams pretty often, and he's got himself a hell of a following.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that was
including Wiggles.
Yeah, Sheik. I know plays video games sometimes.
Wiggles messes everything up. You should just nobody watch Wiggles when he streams anything. He can't figure it out anyways. He's probably not old enough to be playing mature games. Fucking Wiggles. That's not true. You know what? No. Go out of your way to watch Wiggles play video games. Like he needs the encouragement and confidence boost because he really does fuck everything up. So love you, Wiggles. Wiggles.
That is probably one of my favorite gags is how just everybody just hates Wiggles. Even if it's like their first show, they're just like, yeah, everybody hates him. I'm going to hate him too.
They get it right off the bat. He's the biggest heel in the company. He's a little shit. Nobody likes him. And his fake ID, I can't believe his fake ID has worked this long at the Oakland Metro and they haven't like thrown him out. It's amazing.
Isn't he on a list of some sort?
He should be. He should be on a list somewhere. I want to know what excuse he keeps telling his mom every first Friday when he shows up at Hood Slam.
Oh my god!
Like she's got to be getting suspicious at this point.
Oh yeah, I'm betting so.
I think she's just happy that he's out of the house.
That too, yeah, probably. Mama Wiggles is just like, I don't care where you go. I don't care if you come back. Just do you, Wiggles.
Just get out of the house.
We love you, Wiggles, and we love Mama Wiggles too.
Hitsugi, Thrax Sable Scales is saying hello to you in the chat.
Oh, hey, Thraxy. It's nice to see you again.
So I wanted to ask this: if you had to pick your top 5 wrestlers out of the Hood Slam roster, not in any particular order, but and any 5 that you would say people should go watch or go out of their way and watch.
Yeah. I think Drugs Bunny is at the top of that list just because the gimmick, the entrance, the music, everything about that character just screams Hood Slam. It's no accident that he's been either in the main event picture or the Golden Gate champion for the better part of like the last 4 or 5 years. So Drugs Bunny is probably at the top of that list. I think the Stoner Brothers are on there too. I'm counting them as just one since they're, most often a tag team. For anyone who is a wrestling fan in the early 90s, mid 90s, even the late 90s, they're aware of the Steiner Brothers. And then when they hear that we have a team called the Stoner Brothers, then they're immediately aware that we have a lot of gimmicks that will be funnier to people who are actually wrestling fans. So Drugs Bunny kind of sums up the character of Hood Slam, I think. You've got the Stoner Brothers, which is like the wink and a nod to our fellow wrestling fans. Man, now I have to now I've got to just really think about it. There's so many. I mean, at this point, I feel like there's going to be heat if I pick somebody and don't pick somebody else. So I'm going to plead the fifth on the remaining 3. You thought you were going to get 5, you get 2. Fuck the fans.
I'll take that. Understood.
I mean, I can't pick at this point. Like, there's just you've got over the top characters like Funny Bone and Chupacabra that are just like have their face painted and fangs and contacts and just are these over the top mythical characters. You've got Dark Sheik, who is absolutely phenomenal in the ring. I don't think anybody at Hood Slam can compare to Dark Sheik when it comes to bell to bell. If you haven't seen his match with Manny Favorino, which was Manny's swan song at Hood Slam before, leaving for WWE NXT, go out of your way. I don't know if it's on YouTube. It might be. I'm sure it's on Hood Slam's Twitch, which is at hoodslam.tv. Match of the year at Hood Slam so far. I don't know that anything is going to beat it. You've got Brittany Wonder, who is an absolute just beast in the ring. You've got Lady K. You've got Anton Voorhees. At this point, I'm just naming names on the roster. But I really feel like I could boil the essence of Hood Slam down to Drugs Bunny and the Stoner Brothers, because you've got the absurdity of Drugs Bunny, and you've got that entire gimmick and everything that gimmick just is, and then you've got the nod to the wrestling fans with the Stoner Brothers. I think obviously the scope of Hood Slam extends far beyond those three entities, but I think those three together kind of sum up what Hood Slam is.
Mm-hmm. I could agree with that. It's crazy, it's bizarre, but it's so much fun.
Right, and you will enjoy it more if you're a wrestling fan. It's one thing if you're just kind of oh my God, look at these two massive twin brothers. They come to the ring smoking blunts and, just they're out of their freaking minds and they're higher than shit. But then if you're aware of the Steiner brothers, you're just oh my God, one of them is Rick Scott and the other one's Scott Rick, and they're the Stoner brothers. That's awesome.
I can see that. I know that, whenever Hammer starts rattling off people's names, I'm still getting into wrestling. So whenever he starts rattling off people's names, it's I am so lost, but I will listen politely.
So for the Hood Slam fans in the conversation, in your opinion, who are your go-tos? Who's at the top of your list as far as Hood Slam goes?
Since I'm a big fan of Scott Steiner, the Steiner brother or the Stoner brothers are absolutely my favorites.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw out an odd one. I absolutely love Pong as a wrestler.
Pong is great.
I've always, one of my favorite matches, I've always put it under my top 10 of favorite matches, is him and Anton Voorhees or Link at one of the, I think it was Entertainia, one of the Entertainias, and they had the Japanese death match.
Yeah.
Always one of my favorites.
Yeah, Pong is, and it sucks that, sometimes he's not recently he hasn't been at Hood Slam a whole lot, but when it comes to innovation and just entertainment value, he is far from athletic, and he'll be the first person to tell you that, but he is absolutely brilliant when it comes to telling a story in a wrestling match. And I really wish he would, stay at Hood Slam. I don't know what his future is with the company. I don't know if he's taking a break or if he's done forever. I don't think he is, but I hope that's not the case, just because he is a fantastic character and even more brilliant when it comes to putting a match together.
Yeah. You guys?
Well, I already made a collage of it, but for the sake of audio confirmation, I love Manny, I love Sheik, I love Brittany, love Richard Gennari, of course, obviously, love just, oh God, so many to name. I like Otis just because of the gimmick and just how goofy he is.
Otis.
He's
Otis is going to be over forever.
I love him. And of course Funny Bone, because how can you not love Funny Bone?
Right. If you've never seen Funny Bone, you're a fan of his the second he walks through the curtain. You don't have to know anything about him, and you're immediately like, oh my God, look at this freaking guy. And then he's out of his mind, which helps in the ring because he's jumping off of everything. He's, he's just merciless and just, I mean, he's great. He really is.
Mm-hmm. And of course, Anton Voorhees. I mean, he's so much fun too. And he's hilarious.
Yeah. Him, and even though the caution isn't really a thing anymore. Well, no, that's not true. Sam Sheik is bringing it back. But even though the caution in its original form is no longer a thing, Anton Voorhees and Ian Hansman are definitely two of the most hilarious performers at Hood Slam or anywhere else.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, we had the privilege of interviewing him, and he was a riot to talk to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a delightful person.
Exactly. Do you have any favorites there, Middleman?
Middleman, hey. Big boy. Oh. Well, Middleman's dead now.
Somebody draw a chalk outline around him. He's down.
Yeah,
I'm sure he would appreciate that. Quite literally.
Let me message Nurse Ratchet, see if she's doing anything. She can probably help him out, or at least find a way to wake him back up. Check your oil.
So it's coming to mind. How is it? I know it's really obviously different, but what's it like working for like Hood Slam in like one show, and then going to like, let's say Best of the West in the Central Valley area? Like how's those two different in when you do announcing?
Well, Hood Slam is a different energy entirely from really any other promotion I've ever been a part of. It's far more of first it's 21 and over, so there's, swearing and drinking aplenty. So everybody's just a little bit more riled up. There are no chairs at ringside. Everybody's standing. So it makes it a lot harder for people to like just sit on their hands and just not react. And it's a 21 and over show. So there's just, F-bombs and it's a party. It really is a party. So I've got to go out there, and as excited as everybody is, I need to be more excited than anybody else, I feel like, because my energy will be, sent out into the crowd, and I feel like it will be returned to me the way I send it out. Because if I go out there and I'm just playing it up like a straight-laced ring announcer, it's not gonna be as exciting. So when I go out there and I treat it more like a party, that energy is given back to me, and it just turns into a freaking rager, which, like I said, is just so much fun, but it is very, very exhausting at the end of the night. I am just a shell of myself, but it's a good feeling at the same time. But so Best of the West, though, they're trying to do the more family-friendly, more traditional, for lack of a better phrase, more WWE-style product. And they do it well. Like, the in-ring talent is superb. It's a lot of the same folks on Hood Slam, but a lot of different faces as well. So it's fun for me because I get to see matches that I wouldn't see at Hood Slam. Their production is top-notch. They have an amazing entryway for an independent show. Lighting, and I'm recording commentary live at ringside alongside Alexander G. Bernard and in some cases Kyle Newport, and both of those two are a delight to work with. So, but the crowd can't hear my commentary; they're just reacting to what they're seeing. So, it definitely changes the vibe and the dynamic, because if I'm not being received by the crowd, I'm not getting that energy back. So it's draining still, but it's draining in a different way, because I'm trying to put over the excitement of a match into a microphone that's just going into the computer. I don't have the crowd to feed off of, and the crowd's not reacting to what I'm saying. So it's an interesting dichotomy between two completely different bodies of energy, I guess. That sounded a little heady, but that's the best way I can describe it.
Hey man, we like heavy.
Yeah.
Oh, I can get that. Yeah, I can understand. I don't know. I always enjoy watching Hood Slam on Twitch because I don't know. I could have had the worst week ever and just tune in and just be happy.
That's cool to hear. I appreciate hearing that.
No problem.
I'm sure everybody out of Hood Slam appreciates hearing that too. But like, just knowing that what we do kind of can reach people like that, just feels really good.
Oh, of course, and I appreciate you for all of you guys for having that much passion in what you do.
Well, thanks. I mean, I think it's we want our passion and our excitement to come through in what we do, and if it's not, then I think we're doing something wrong. So I am again very happy to hear that comes through.
Well, of course. I mean, and all of you, like, out of everybody that I've spoken to from Hood Slam, like, all of you have been nothing but nice and so sweet, and like it's very refreshing.
And you're willing to come on shows like this.
Well, if there's one thing we can talk about all day, it's wrestling and Hood Slam. Two things, I guess. Just don't interview Wiggles because he's a total dick. Just kidding. Love you, Wiggles.
Duly noted.
And this is how beef gets started.
Yeah, exactly. We got heat now.
It's a drama channel now, guys. All wrestling all the time.
Wiggles' mom is going to be pissed.
But I do have to get going, guys.
Gaming and yelling in the chat is saying Hood Slam guys and gals are awesome. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
But, it was a pleasure speaking with you, sir, and thank you so much for coming on.
Likewise, thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. But I'm gonna go ahead and go. If you guys want to finish up with any other questions, you can go right ahead.
I guess we will, but we'll see you later, Hitsu.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. All right. So, what questions are there left to ask? I've had to deal with people coming in and out.
I just wanted to ask him if he has maybe. It sounds like an odd question, but do you have a wrestling match that you suggest people to go out and watch if they haven't really seen wrestling, whether it be from Hood Slam or somewhere else? What would be the most appropriate match for someone that you want to get interested in wrestling to go watch?
Great question. And there are a couple. The first one I would show them is Kurt Angle versus Rey Mysterio that kicked off SummerSlam in 2002. You've got a legit Olympic gold medalist. You've got somebody who matches what a lot of people think of when they just think professional wrestler, with Rey Mysterio being under a luchador mask. And those two put on an exciting, high-flying, technically sound, just long enough and yet just short enough match that I feel if you show that to somebody who hasn't watched wrestling, they're going to get excited about that match. If you hook them after that, then obviously these car crashes like Hell in a Cell and TLC are a lot of fun. Maybe you take them back and show them how The Rock first made himself famous, and show them The Rock and Steve Austin from WrestleMania 17, or I even like their match at WrestleMania 19. I thought that was a damn good match. But if somebody's never seen wrestling before and you want them to kind of get acquainted with it, I can't recommend Kurt Angle versus Rey Mysterio enough. I think it was a stellar match. And again, just all things, it didn't go on too long. You don't need to know a lot of backstory. Just classic heel versus babyface. And like I said, just physical, exciting, technically sound, and just a joy to watch every time.
Nice.
If you haven't seen it in a while, go out of your way and check it out, especially if you have the network. I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere, but go back and watch that match. I'm sure you will enjoy every second of it. I think it was his debut match in WWE too. I think it was his very first match. He just, maybe he did some spot on SmackDown leading up to it, but I'm pretty sure that was his first actual match in WWE.
I'm trying to remember my 2002 years. I think he had one match just before. Well, no, he debuted on a SmackDown, I think, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember here. Yeah, he debuted on a SmackDown. I don't remember the actual who he wrestled, but
yeah, that may have been to kind of tease his match with Kurt Angle at SummerSlam. But if he didn't debut at SummerSlam, that was definitely the first pay-per-view he was on.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was 16 years ago. I'm so old.
I think we're all starting to feel that way, man.
Yeah.
After a while, when the years start blending together and you constantly refer to things that happened years ago as, the other day.
Yeah, right.
You've been around far too long at that point.
Right. Time is definitely getting away from you.
Oh, so there it is. Chavo. Chavo was his first match.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Have we done the match questions like who would you what are the dream matches and stuff like that?
Oh yes. The your dream match. Who if you had to wrestle anybody from past, present, dead, alive, whoever, if you could wrestle one person, who would it be?
Probably Shawn Michaels in 1997. Or maybe no, you know what? Probably Shawn Michaels in 2009. Actually, but 2009 was the year that he wrestled Undertaker at WrestleMania for the first time, which, in my opinion, is the greatest match of all time. And Shawn was a dick in 96 and 97 and 98, so I wouldn't want to have to wrestle dickhead Shawn Michaels. But like I said, he is the guy that made me want to be a wrestler. So to get in there with him after he had his got his new lease on life, I think would be incredible. But to kind of take your question a step further, if I could wrestle anyone active today, it would be Cody Rhodes, because in 2016 during the Rock the Promo competition,
I do remember this.
He had some scathing words about Hood Slam, and to this day, it kind of irks me a little bit. So I think, I'm grateful to say that Hood Slam does not need any help selling out every first Friday. But, starting in January, we will be running every single Friday at the Oakland Metro Opera House. And hopefully, that trend continues and we keep drawing people every Friday. But, yeah, me and Cody Rhodes, me as Broseph and Cody Rhodes at Hood Slam, I feel like would be, I don't think I've wrestled my last match yet, but if it were me and Cody at Hood Slam, and if I never wrestled again, I'm pretty sure I'd be very okay with that.
Yeah,
I could see I could see Entertainia main event right there.
Oh God, that would just be. Now I could not pick a better scenario. Like I said, if main event of Entertainia, me and Cody Rhodes, like, and I don't know, in my pie in the sky scenario, he's the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, and he and I, the NWA title on the line in the main event of Entertainia at Hood Slam, I feel like would just be beyond description.
Oh yeah.
Did Damon come in and leave?
Yeah.
Aw. I was about to ask him if he had anything if he had any questions. I just wanted to get through the ones that were pending.
Do you have any other questions before we head off? Metal?
Well, I have to ask this because that's what I do here. So, what is your favorite music to listen to while training or getting pumped up for a show?
I'm going to give you two guesses, but you're probably only going to need one.
Metallica?
Oh, no, you really don't know? No, it's Nickelback.
I was about ready to say that too.
Oh yeah, and that's not a gimmick. I genuinely love Nickelback. I'm not being ironic. I'm not kidding. That is one part of the Broseph character that is absolutely 100% true. I fucking love Nickelback. I don't care. I don't care that they're the most hated band in the world, and I don't care what anybody says. Everybody knows and likes at least one Nickelback song. And if anybody's listening and they're like, oh, bullshit, I'm going to prove it right now. I'm going to say a line from their song, and you cannot help but finish the line, okay? And that line is, never made it as a wise man.
Never made it as a poor man stealing.
Thank you. Damn it. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
You see, I was lost on that one. I was like,
Sure you were. Sure you were. It's okay.
Photograph.
All right.
The one that's
I can't tell you how many times I've talked to somebody, like one-on-one, like in public, nobody will ever admit it. But if I'm talking to them one-on-one, they're going to be like, okay, so this whole Nickelback thing, there is one song I actually like. And then I may have sung this song when I was drunk at karaoke. And then when I was driving home, this other song may have come on the radio, and I may have been singing that song too. And I'm like, it's okay. Come here. Okay.
There was like one song that when they first came out, that I remember. Yeah, I remember not hating. I can't remember actually liking it enough to remember the lyrics, and I'm dying on the song title.
See, that's how it starts. That's how it starts. There was a song out there I didn't hate. Okay.
I'll admit it. I'm a snob when it comes to music, and like certain things just irk me. And yeah, I mean, I will go so far as to say that yes, musicians, Nickelback are not awful. I can't really connect with them, but I don't really hate one that does.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, I don't think they're being celebrated for their musicianship per se. I think they're being celebrated because they're fun to listen to.
I could see that. Oh, Little J Moxley did want me to ask you, do you like Creed? Because if you like Creed, he's sold.
You know, it's funny because I'm going to give the answer to the Creed question the way a lot of people give me the answer to the Nickelback question. I like some of their songs. I can't name probably more than 2 or 3, but, watching WWE in the early 2000s, My Sacrifice was commonly used for the highlight packages. I think that's an awesome song. Obviously, everybody knows With Arms Wide Open, but Weathered off of the album of the same name, I think is my favorite Creed song. But beyond that, Weathered is, that's an awesome song. But beyond that, I really honestly can't name a whole lot of Creed. Back in when they were popular, I was more in the Limp Bizkit, Korn, Saliva, Puddle of Mud camp. And I heard Creed, and at first I was just like, these guys are garbage. But then when I started using their stuff with WWE, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. And then I kind of warmed up to their stuff a little bit more. But yeah, there's a couple Creed songs that I will admit to liking, but for the most part, never really did a whole lot for me. Which is weird considering I love Nickelback.
Yeah.
Well, Little J says he'll take it. And
okay. Thanks, Little J.
Okay. So Hammers Gaming is wanting me to ask the forbidden question.
Oh my God, there's a forbidden question. Where are you guys seeing this? Can I see what people are saying?
It's in the live chat on the YouTube channel.
Okay. Oh, we're on YouTube Live right now? That's news to me.
Yeah, we've been live this whole time, man.
Oh my God, I thought this was just on Google Hangouts. I don't know what's going on right now. Oh, there's the link. Okay, let's see what's actually going on. And then turn down the volume. Okay, here we go. Hey, everybody. There's Branch Stifter and Lil J Moxley. Let's see, who else is in here?
Opal.
Cadunt? What the hell is Cadunt? Oh, it's tending to some errands, but they cannot hear. Okay, I'm here. Hey, everybody. Just figuring out what's going on. What is the forbidden question?
So, this will be the final time that we ask anyone this question because, frankly, I'm getting tired of asking it and having to explain it. But
holy crap, pressure's on.
The question is, who is in your boys' stable?
My boys' stable?
Do I have to go over the rules?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Why are you trying not to bust up right now? What is happening?
Because the rules of the boys' stable are finite in key, and everybody gets it wrong. So I'm making sure everybody gets it right for the last time. So a boys' stable is a group of wrestlers that you would have in a stable of your own, like the Four Horsemen with J.J. Dillon was his little stable.
Sure.
Kind of like that. So the stable requires you to have a minimum of 5 or 4 wrestlers.
Okay.
They cannot be a world champion.
Ooh.
So IWGP, WCW, WWE, none of those.
Okay.
They cannot be well respected in the community of wrestling fans.
Shit.
And here's the last little stinker. You have to be slightly ashamed of them.
Oh my God. You said no world champions. I was like, oh, okay. Well, Scott Hall and Kurt Hennig and Roddy Piper but nope. And they're all well respected, and I'm not ashamed of those guys. So, oh God, okay. Yeah, brand stifter. I thought it was a kink thing too, but what do I know? Fuck.
Do you want an example?
Terry Taylor.
Okay. Terry Taylor.
Fucking Vince Russo.
Okay, yeah. Well,
no. Oh shit! No, he made himself champion. Fuck the fans. Okay. Terry Taylor. Sticking with Terry Taylor.
Okay.
Okay. Fuck. This is going to require more thought than. How much time do we have? Is it 6 of? Okay, well that's okay. I'm going to figure this out. Terry Taylor is definitely at the top of the list.
Okay.
And they can't be well respected. I mean,
yeah.
I just hear people bash Terry Taylor all the time. So like, I don't, I know he's got a reputation for being kind of a snitch. And fucking goddamn it, Vince Russo, why'd you have to make yourself world champion, you fucking dick?
I can throw examples if you need it.
Yes, please. This is harder than I thought it would be.
Heidenreich. Test.
Fucking Heidenreich. Heidenreich.
Rico. Rico is another one.
Rico's not well respected.
Yeah, he never really nobody has ever said anything good that I've heard about Rico.
Okay, here's one. Daniel Puder.
Yes.
That's Taylor.
Boyhood material right there.
Terry Taylor. Daniel Puder. Oh God. I might need some more help with some examples. Yeah, I'm gonna keep thinking. I'm not stopping until I get 4. Berserker wasn't well respected. Are you sure? Gaming and Yelling. I feel like Berserker. I thought he was respected.
Well, he was just a ripoff of Bruiser Brody.
Right. Well, that doesn't mean he wasn't well respected, does it? I mean, he didn't put himself that shitty fucking gimmick.
Yeah, that's true. So
okay, so anyway, we've got Terry Taylor, we've got Daniel Puder, and the only reason he came to mind is because he was a topic on a recent Something to Wrestle, which is a phenomenal podcast. If you like wrestling and aren't listening to that, shame on you. Who else is just a shitty McShitpants?
Rob Conway back in the day.
Rob Conway? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. How was Donald Trump received as a wrestler?
He wasn't a wrestler. He was a manager.
Right. Oh God, who is that? How do people feel about Brockus?
Yes, boy, right there.
Okay. Brockus. Definitely a little ashamed of Brockus.
Yeah.
I liked Adam Bomb. I thought he went on to be Wrath in WCW. Gaming and Yelling doesn't like Adam Bomb. And they're saying Rob Conway was NWA World Heavyweight Champion. He doesn't count. Who do we have so far? We got Daniel Puder. We got Terry Taylor. We've got Brockus. Jesus Christ. This is such an atrocity. And we need one more. I'm not leaving until we get one more to like round it out. Maybe we can even pick a manager who nobody liked and round it out.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of a good one. Cronus. He could be a boy. Let's see. I think of some other.
How do people feel about Alex the Pug Porteau? Did he have a reputation at all? Anybody remember him? Alex the Pug. He literally had no gimmick. He was like an amateur wrestler, and he fucking jobs to TL Hopper on Superstars or something. Like
enough.
You know what? Since we don't have a clear answer on him, and we're gonna be here all night otherwise, Alex the Pug Porteau is on my list. Google him, kids.
There you go.
Daniel Puder, Terry Taylor, Brockus, and Alex the Pug Porteau. I like Blue Meanie. Shame on you, Gaming and Yelling. Blue Meanie's respected. And shout out to Blue Meanie. He follows me on Twitter. I follow him on Twitter. We ran into each other at Cauliflower Alley. I like Blue Meanie. You're in trouble now, Gaming and Yelling. We need a manager. Who's a total? Who's just who's a shitty shit manager?
I want to say Royal Rumble 1991. Jameson. Everybody's Jameson.
Nobody likes Jameson?
No.
Okay. I mean, honest to God, brother, love, shame on you, Gaming and Yelling. I can't even picture who Jameson is. I can't.
He was.
Here's one. I think she appeared once for WWF. Stephanie's trainer, Muffy. Anybody remember Muffy?
Oh my goodness.
There's an obscure one for you. Muffy. Stephanie's trainer when she was women's champion for like a cup of coffee. Muffy manages the boys' stable.
Oh, that's great. that right there is a list of boys you can just have for yourself.
The manager doesn't have to be a boy, right? Boys is a non-sexual, non-specific term, right?
It's gender fluid. It could be.
Okay, good. Yeah, the chat room is like taking a collective dump right now. I love it.
Oh.
Okay, so Muffy managing Daniel Puder, Brockus, Terry Taylor, and oh god, who else? Who was it? I forgot who it was already.
It was the Pug guy.
Oh, Alex the Pug Porteau. That's right. How quickly we forget. Gaming and Yelling is like, congratulations, sir. You have beaten the forbidden question. I did. I had help, though. Let's be honest. I had a lot of help.
Everyone needs help on that question, man.
I need help after answering that question.
I think we need help for asking it.
Yeah, good thing it retires tonight. Not a day too soon.
I'm kind of done asking that question because it always seems to lead to a clusterfuck of
shit, I thought this was going to be so easy. I'm like, I can name a dozen people who have never held the World Heavyweight Championship that would make it. Oh wait, there's more to the. Oh Jesus Christ, this is god, this is bad.
They always
I wonder
get
what Muffy's doing nowadays. What is Muffy doing?
Yeah, I do wonder that too.
Shout out to runner-up. I think they mentioned it somewhere in the chat room. There it is. Little J Moxley suggested the manager for the Nation. I think they're talking about Clarence something Wilson.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
But I was going to take it a step further and choose PG-13, the white rappers that led them to the ring. I think that would have rounded it out beautifully. But Muffy, sorry guys, Muffy beat you to it.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Yeah. And with that, I think I'm out of questions because that's like the Hail Mary one. Finally,
well, this has been a pleasure, y'all. I appreciate you having me on the show.
Oh well, thank you much for coming on, man. And I wish I'd been a little better prepared, but
it's quite all right. I mean, I kind of prefer interviews like this that we just kind of shoot the shit and just see where it goes.
Honestly, they seem a hell of a lot more fun than trying to structure out like questions ahead of time. Just have like 2 or 3 questions and just see where the conversation leads you. It's much better.
Exactly. And like at the end of the day, we're all wrestling fans. So I'm sure it's just a matter of time until, the conversation finds its way somewhere. And in this case, we found our way to 5 of the most forgettable, regrettable superstars of all time.
Well, is there any matches coming up that you would like to promote real quick?
It's kind of a slow weekend this weekend. Don't have any shows coming up, but Friday, November 16th, Oakland, California, Hood Slam does 80s. You can get your tickets by searching Hood Slam on eventbrite.com. The following day, I'm doing a Headlock on Hunger, which is a fundraiser show in, I think, Reno. Oh, God, I'm going to have to double check and see where it's at. Yeah, it's going to be in Sparks, actually. Headlock on Hunger at 1350 Bering Road in Sparks, Nevada. Fundraiser, to raise money, get some food for the holidays. And then the following weekend, Saturday the 24th, I'm in Pacheco, California in the East Bay, hosting and ring announcing for East Bay Pro Wrestling.
Nice.
And also, I just put my social media in the chat room. So if you feel like a follow, I'd really appreciate it. And also, I'm doing a YouTube show every Monday and Wednesday. It's called WWE 2K Fabe, when I give you the inside perspective and behind-the-scenes stories surrounding the voiceover and motion capture of WWE 2K19. So if you feel like, hit me up on YouTube and shoot me a subscription, I would really appreciate it. Yeah, of course, I'm shilling Jinx C. If I'm not going to push my shit, who else is?
I was going to say, the links didn't post before, but I just gave you a wrench, so everything you should be able to post in there now.
Oh, thank you. I'll go back and make sure people saw them. What does the wrench mean? I can post links and
yeah, you become a moderator.
Ooh, sounds fancy.
Yeah, there you go.
Moderating these motherfuckers right now.
Sweet. There we go.
There we go. Cool. Well, thanks again, y'all. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you very much, man. And to everyone still watching, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for keeping us, somewhat relevant while we trudge through this. These are some of the most horrible questions we can think of to ask these poor guys.
God, rest in peace. That question. May you never pop up again.
Oh, it'll happen again.
No.
I'm trying to be preemptive about it and be like, no, please, can we retire this? But all right, you guys have a good evening. We will catch you next time. And our stream is we're done.